Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. So, gonna give you the 5 things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must do at Manchester United. So, I think one of the things he's got to do, he has got to take the captaincy off Harry Maguire. I think that Manchester United made the wrong decision by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy. And a lot of Manchester United fans don't think Harry Maguire is good enough to captain the team. We give Harry Maguire the captaincy, reflecting on Ashley Young's departure in January. Now, obviously, this has been Harry Maguire's first season at Manchester United. Like I said, he's had some good games where he's showed that ability to play out from the back, and he's looked quite good in the air, and he's also had some good headed chances, and he's also scored 3 goals for the football club so far. But there's other games where when he's performed bad, when he's looked far too exposed at the back, made far too many touches, made far too many mistakes. And yeah, definitely we overpaid for Harry Maguire because obviously we paid £80 million for him last summer from Leicester. So he is the most expensive centre-half in the world and the second most expensive signing at the football club, just behind Paul Pogba. But there's a few Manchester United fans that have said, we should consider selling Harry Maguire in this summer transfer window. So yeah, so we need to take the captaincy off him. Now, I think another one of the things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to do is put Dean Henderson as number 1 goalkeeper for next season. Now, whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does this or not, I do not know, because Solskjaer did recently say that Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become Man United's number 1 goalkeeper. I think now he is reliable enough to become our number 1 because he has got that experience behind him. He endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and I think he has been Sheffield United's player of the season. Now, there was recent narratives coming out saying that we could loan Dean Henderson out again for next season, but he will not be going back to Sheffield United. The main explanation is because Sheffield United have agreed to get Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth for around 18.5 million. Now, Dean Henderson has had quite a few loan spells, not only with Sheffield United, he had loan spells with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. And we got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at the age of 14. We are still in negotiations over getting Dean Henderson a new contract. Dean Henderson's current contract with Man United expires in 2022. But Solskjaer was saying prior to the game against Copenhagen that, it will be extremely difficult for us to keep De Gea, Romero and Dean Henderson all at the football club for next season, so he's definitely facing a goalkeeping dilemma. But as you all know, David De Gea has been our number 1 for several years because obviously, David De Gea has been at the football club for a lot of years. He's endured 9 seasons at Manchester United and he's now approaching his 10th year at the football club. And like I've said to you before, I think David De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United because in the last couple of years, he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. De Gea has made 405 appearances for Man United in all competitions and 300-odd appearances in the Premier League. Solskjaer was talking about De Gea a few weeks before the season finished and he said he's been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. If he was to sell De Gea in this summer transfer window, I think we'd get around £60 million for him, even though he's been so inconsistent in the last couple of years. We only paid just over £18 million in from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. I'm actually surprised that Solskjaer selected David De Gea yesterday for the game against Sevilla, because like I said, this season Sergio Romero has played all our League Cup games. He's also played all our FA Cup games prior to the semi-final, and I think he's played all our Europa League games apart from obviously the game yesterday. I don't know what's going to be happening with Sergio Romero, to be quite honest with you, because obviously if Dean Henderson was to be number 1 next season, the guy was still to be here, then obviously Romero then would be third choice, and obviously he wouldn't want to be third choice goalkeeper at Manchester United. Obviously, this has been Sergio Romero's 5th season at the club. Obviously, we got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. Romero's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I think another one of the things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to do at Manchester United is get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract. Now, I do expect Manchester United to enter negotiations with Paul Pogba over getting him a new contract at the football club. Obviously, it did say a few weeks before the season finished that we was close to getting Paul Pogba a new 5-year deal at the club. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano, who was close to Man United and who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he said that, Paul Pogba's happy at Manchester United and he does want to stay at the football club. Now, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Manchester United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Now, I think it did say, was it last week, that Paul Pogba was going to drop a tweet on social media and saying there was going to be a big announcement on Wednesday. But I think Paul Pogba will stay at Manchester United for next season. It wasn't so long ago that I celebrated his 4-year anniversary at the football club, because Paul Pogba has enjoyed 4 years at Man United since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. Now, there has been stories coming out from 2 Sport recently saying that Juventus are willing to offer Paulo Dybala in a swap deal so they can re-sign Paul Pogba. Don't forget, we was in for Paul Dybala last summer, but obviously we didn't get him. But any deal for Paulo Dybala would probably cost us around 100 million euros, which equates to around 90 million in pounds sterling. But obviously, was it around this time last year, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club. Don't forget, he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. There was also talks about Paul Pogba going back to Juventus, because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. Don't forget, the likes of PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan were in for him before. But Solskjaer's already said that Pogba will stay and he will sign a new contract. Paul Pogba's still in his prime, he's 27, so he has still got a lot of development in him. Paul Pogba has won 2 trophies at the football club so far, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Obviously, Paul Pogba enjoyed a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, but obviously all our top players enjoyed a difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Don't forget, we had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger, under the Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. But as it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing, like I said, because, we paid £89 million for him. Towards the end of the Premier League season, I thought Paul Pogba did very, very well. I think he's done well since he come back from that ankle injury, because I haven't had a perception on Pogba for the vast majority of the season because he's been out with that injury, but he has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. I thought he did very, very well against Sevilla yesterday. His touches were good, he passed the ball well, and he created some very, very good chances. So Solskjaer's got to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the club. I think another one of the things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to do, and that is sign Jadon Sancho. Now, I think Jadon Sancho now to Manchester United is very, very unlikely, like I mentioned to you on my recent video, because Borussia Dortmund's chef has come out and said that Dortmund do not need to sell Sancho in this summer transfer window, despite Dortmund losing £45 million. They lost £45 million, yeah. Borussia Dortmund have done well in pre-season so far. Won their first game against Altach 6-0, and they've just recently won 11-2 against Austria Wien, or Wien, however you pronounce their name. But I think definitely now Jadon Sancho to Man United is off, and it is disappointing because Jadon Sancho is our number 1 priority target, and we have been in for him for such a long time. Now, like I've said, throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. because Borussia Dortmund have remained ruthless over their valuation, and they have said that they want over £100 million. Obviously, we've said several times we are not willing to pay over £100 million for the player. I think it said we had set our limit and we was only willing to pay like 60 or £70 million up front. Dortmund had said, they was looking for around 90 million up front, but their valuation was actually, £108 million. Like I said, if we'd have paid what Dortmund were demanding, Sancho would have been our most expensive signing, and he would have been the most expensive British player in history. Now, obviously, a few weeks ago, it was looking very, very imminent that we was going to be signing Sancho, and it was looking likely he was going to be our first signing in this summer transfer window, because don't forget Fabrizio Romano came out, who was very close to Man United. He said that negotiations between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund were at an advanced stage. And he said that Sancho had agreed personal terms with Manchester United. And he said he was set to sign a 5-year deal with the football club worth around £250,000 a week. Now, obviously, Borussia Dortmund's CEO did recently say that Sancho is staying with Borussia Dortmund. He's saying the exact same thing as what their sporting director said last week, because their sporting director Michael Zorg also said that Sancho is staying at Borussia Dortmund and the decision is final. And they did say that his contract has secretly been extended until 2023. I do presume that, Sancho does want to come to Manchester United. He did also recently say that Real Madrid and Barcelona had entered the race for him, and they could go in for him next year if we fail to sign him in this summer transfer window. Now, don't forget, we did make a promise to Sancho that, we was willing to offer him the number 7, because, he'd fulfill number 7 really, really well, and obviously we've got number 7 vacant at the moment, but we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. And, I outlined the reasons why I wanted Man United to sign Sancho, like I've said before, because he's got a very, very good friendship with Rashford. He dramatically improves us, and he is predominantly a right winner. And he's a player that can create chances, and he can also score goals. Jadon Sancho has enjoyed 3 good years with Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, Dortmund got him for next to nothing. They only paid £8 million in from Man City. But obviously, analysing his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. Obviously, Sancho enjoyed 2 years at Man City, but the main explanation why he left Man City is because he did not get assured any first-team opportunities. And before he was at City, he was at Watford. He actually was at Watford for several years. I think he joined Watford at the age of 7 and he left them at the age of 14. But yeah, Jadon Sancho, it's looking likely he's going to be the 3rd player that we're going to miss out on under Solsjaker, because we've already missed out on 2 players under Solsjaker, and that was Erling Haaland. We missed out on him in January. He went to Dortmund, and we also missed out on Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. And of course, a few weeks ago, he went to Borussia Dortmund. But we missed out on the deadline to sign Sancho, didn't we? Because Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. But yeah, I'm very, very sceptical now that he is going to be coming in. So obviously, now we are looking at alternatives to Jadon Sancho. The recent alternative on our agenda is Douglas Costa from Juventus, and we have inquired about his availability before. Robin Matondo from Schalke, he's one of our alternatives. Thiago Almeida, he's one of our alternatives. Federico Chiesa, he's been one of our alternatives. Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona, he's been one of our alternatives. But there is cheaper solutions out there than Sancho. Personally speaking, Sancho is not worth £108 million. I think at the tops he's worth about maybe £70 or £80 million. But so there you go. I think also too what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must do is sign a centre-half. Now, there has been a lot of centre-halves on our agenda, and we're looking to get a centre-half in, despite the fact that we have got 7 centre-halves in the team. Obviously, we've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. Obviously, we've got Bain, Tuanzebe that are our backup centre-halves. You've obviously, got Smalling, Jones, Rojo, as well. They're our backup centre-halves. So we've got too many centre-halves in the team. Now, obviously, you know that Gabriel Magalhaes has been on our agenda from Lille. Lille's president, Gerard Lopez, recently confirmed that, Gabriel Magalhaes is leaving, but I don't think Man United are going to get him. And it's a shame, really, because he's a cheap solution. He's available for around £20 million. Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli has been on our agenda. Again, don't think we're going to get him. Don't forget Nathan Ake was on our agenda at one point. So, yeah. So, we have looked at quite a few centre-halves. So, that's another one of the things Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to do. Obviously, Solskjaer has got big decisions to make in this summer transfer window of obviously, what players he's going to recommend in and, of course, what players he is going to get rid of. So, he's going to focus on both the incomings and the outgoings. Solskjaer's already outlined his transfer plans. He has said he wants to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window. And he has identified the areas in the squad where he wants to strengthen up. But he's instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets. And Solskjaer said, he wants Manchester United to spend a substantial amount in this summer transfer window. Now, I think Solskjaer's definitely got to get rid of more of the deadwood at the football club. And I think, he will do this in this summer transfer window. I think the players we are going to get rid of is definitely Jesse Lingard, despite Solskjaer wanting him to stay at the football club. Obviously, Solskjaer's an admirer of Jesse Lingard because he coached him as a youth player. Lingard's just got under a year left on his Manchester United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Lingard's been part of the club for several years. If we sell him in this summer transfer window, I think we probably get around £20 million for him, maybe a bit more. Andres Pereira, now it's looking very imminent. He's leaving the football club. It came out recently from Esporte Interactivo saying that Pereira's leaving Man United despite Solskjaer wanting him to stay at the club. Obviously, Pereira's agent is talking with clubs in Germany, Spain and Portugal. It actually says that Benfica are interested in Andres Pereira. But Andres Pereira's found game time very, very difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. I think also too, we need to get rid of Diego Dalot because I don't think Diego Dalot is good enough to represent Manchester United. Like I said, he's been at the football club now a couple of years. We got him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid £19 million in from Porto, and Dalot has got a contract with us until 2023. This season, I think he's made 11 appearances in all competitions, but only made 1 start in the Premier League. He had back-to-back injuries, don't forget, earlier on in the season. He said that Everton were interested in Dalot and they believe they can get him for around £10 million. As well, Chris Smalling, I expect Man United to get rid of him, despite Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently saying that Smalling does have a future at the club. And he also revealed, Solskjaer, that he was in regular contact with Chris Smalling whilst he was out on loan with Roma. I think we have named our asking price for Smalling. We do want around £20 million to let him go permanently. Reportedly Inter Milan and Roma and that are interested. Newcastle were recently interested, but Smalling rejected Newcastle. A lot of United fans would like to see Smalling play ahead of either Lindelof or Harry Maguire, to see what he can do. But Smalling's enjoyed a good 9 or 10 years with Manchester United. I also expect us to get rid of Marcus Rojo, because I think, he's also inconsistent. Is Rojo now back at Manchester United? He was recently out on loan with Estudiantes. Obviously, we got Rojo back in 2014 from Sporting Lisbon for around £16 million. So Rojo's enjoyed a good, 5 years or so at the club. Rojo's made 122 appearances for Man United in all competitions. Also to Phil Jones, he's another one. I expect us, to get rid of him. Possibly Eric Bay, we could get rid of him. Not because he's a bad centre-half, he's just far too injury-prone. Some United fans will say we need to get rid of Juan Mata in this summer transfer window. But I think Juan Mata will be here for next season, so I don't think he'll leave. I know Juan Mata doesn't get in the team a lot now, but when he does make a fantastic impact. Juan Mata's enjoyed 6 years at the club. Obviously, we got him back in 2014 from Chelsea for just under £40 million. But, we sell players in this summer transfer window. Our transfer budget will increase. I heard that our transfer budget is around £140 million. By the way, Solsjaker has given us an update on our transfers, and he cannot guarantee that we will make any signings before the start of the new Premier League season. We know the new season starts on the 12th of September. But Solskjaer has obviously come out after the Sevilla game and said that he does want to improve the squad. He was also talking about the young players. He says that they've still got plenty to learn about changing games and achieving consistency in that. But we have got a lot of young players coming through, and like I've said, throughout the course of this season, I think Solskjaer has promoted the youth very, very well. But obviously, we lost to Sevilla yesterday by 2-1 in the Europa League semi-final. Obviously, it was our third semi-final defeat this season, and it is now 3 seasons in a row we have failed to win a major trophy. And that's the first time we've done that since the late 1980s. So is that 30 odd years ago now? Reflect on that result yesterday. Maybe the pressure's mounted up a bit on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But to be honest with you, I'm disappointed, that we didn't get to the final. I wanted Manchester United to win the Europa League. And I give you the main explanations why I wanted Man United to win the Europa League. Because obviously, it would have been our first trophy under Solskjaer. It would have been our first trophy in over 3 years. And it would have been our second Europa League, because obviously we won it back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era. But I was saying to you guys, wasn't I, prior to the game, that, Sevilla was going to be a big test, because, Sevilla are a very, very good team. They've won 5 Europa Leagues. They are the most successful team in Europa League history, because they are the record holders. They're unbeaten now in their last 20 games. They finished 4th in the La Liga this season, and they've also, got some very, very good players. Sevilla did beat us back in the last 16 of the Champions League back in 2018. Don't forget. But I was, very, very disappointed. Because like I said on Match Reaction, I thought, Manchester United did dominate the game. We had these chances, but, we just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. Rashford had chances, Pogba had chances, Martial had some very, very good chances. Mason Greenwood had a big chance in the game. I just think we was defensively shambolic, and that's what cost us. Maybe, you can, some of the blame does stem from Solskjaer. Why did it take him so late, to bring a substitution on? But like I said, Wan-Bissaka was caught out of position for both of Sevilla's goals. Lindelof was accountable for Luke de Jong's winner. Brandon Williams, was accountable for one of their goals as well. But, it wasn't a bad performance by Manchester United. But, I'm not going to say demand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out, because, we have seen an upturn in form, let's be honest. We are still unbeaten in our last 14 league games. Don't forget, we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-final. But Solskjaer's exceeded most of his expectations this season. Obviously, got us qualification for the Champions League. And I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. We also finished third, which was a good achievement. And Solskjaer got us to 3 semi-finals. But it was only his first full season at the club. Solskjaer I can assure you, he'll be definitely Man United manager for next season. Next season is obviously going to be his second full season at the football club. But Solskjaer knows next season he's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. Like I've said to you numerous times, our expectations next season will be to challenge for the Premier League title. But I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Obviously, time will tell. Next season will tell the story. But I want us to be up there challenging for next season. But, we've got to start making signings. We've got to start making signings in this summer transfer window. We should do good recruitment and all of that. We've obviously, seen teams around us, doing good recruitment. Chelsea, they've done good recruitment so far. They signed Hakim Ziyech back in February for around, 38 million. They signed Werner from Leipzig. They recently signed, Ben Chilwell from Leicester. They're looking to get Havertz on the board. Liverpool have agreed to get Thiago from Munich. They've also got Jashikmas from Olympiacos for around 13 mil. Arsenal, they've just signed Willian on a free. City, they signed Ferran Torres and Nathan Ake. So we've got to start making signings without a shadow of a doubt. We really, really do. But this summer transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Don't get me wrong, I've seen improvements under the Norwegian. Our recruitment's improved under him. So far, Solskjaer's spent over £200 million at Manchester United. He has made his around 4 or 5 permanent signings. Obviously, last summer he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes in. And obviously, he brought Ighalo on loan. And we've just, in this summer transfer window, we've just recently signed Filip Stevanovic from Partizan Belgrade for €12 million. But he's going to remain on loan with Partizan Belgrade for next season. Then he's going to officially join Man United in the summer of 2021. As you all know, he is the age of 17. I think definitely players have improved under Solskjaer. Another good thing, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer got recommended into the club. But, we still got around 7 or 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. So, yeah, I have seen improvements. But don't get me wrong, there's still aspects of our game that I've got to improve. We need to keep the ball better. We need to be more clinical in front of goal. Defensively, we need to look better. Solskjaer's decision-making has definitely got to improve as well. Because a lot this season he's been very tactically naive. But in some games, he's showed a lot of tactical flexibility. I think in a lot of the big games throughout the course of the season, his approach to them games, were actually, very, very good. And there's definitely no players that have got to improve under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But definitely Solskjaer needs another season at Manchester United. Even if we hadn't have even got qualification for the Champions League, I'd have still said, look, he needs another season because it is a transition period and it has been a transition period for a while. And don't forget, Solskjaer is inheriting players from other managerial eras. He was inheriting a squad that cost around £700 million. Obviously, he's added to it a little bit with the signings he's made. But, actually, the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's because Mourinho did recommend a good 11 players into Man United. Van Gaal, he recommended 16 players in, but a lot of the players under who Van Gaal brought in have now left. Moisey only managed to bring 2 players in. There's still a few players here from the Alex Ferguson era. It's going to be hard for any manager to replicate Ferguson's legacy at the club, and it's going to be hard for any manager to last as long as Alex Ferguson did. You know what I mean? So, there you go. But, like I said, in the last 7 years, we have been playing catch-up. We've had different managers with different philosophies. We spent £900 million on players since Ferguson left, and this includes what we spent under Solskjaer. We've got players on big contracts at the football club. There's been a lot of problems, as well with Ed Woodward and the Glazers and that for several years. Since the Jose Mourinho era, we've been in the process of trying to get a director of footballing, so that director of football can join Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's structure. But Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. And I hope we can win a title under him. And if we could do this, it would be our 21st title. Because as it stands at the moment, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. So as it stands at the moment, we are the most successful team in Premier League history. In the entirety of our history so far, we've won around 45 trophies. We won 38 of them under Ferguson, but we've only won 3 trophies since Ferguson left, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho. So there you go. But Solskjaer's learned quite a lot. He's now got that managerial experience behind him. Like I said, Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. And I think he's managed a lot of games. I think that game against Sevilla yesterday was our 61st game, was it, of this season. Good for Brandon Williams as well. It was a big game for him yesterday because that was his first European semi-final as a senior player for Man United. And it was his 3rd semi-final this season, Brandon Williams. But I think in regards to left back, I think Luke Shaw will remain our first choice left back for next season. Because obviously Luke Shaw is more experienced than Brandon Williams. We've only got 3 injuries at the moment, and that's Luke Shaw, Phil Jones, and Alex Tuanzebe. But they're going to be back for the new season. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.